Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to round 16 of the F123 Lancia career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Singapore Grand Prix, and fun fact, despite this new version of the track came to F123 about 5 months ago, I've never driven it inside a career mode race still. We've done it in co-op, we've done it in some other series here and there. But Singapore, yeah, I removed it from the calendar, ready for, I think, Season 3 of my team. And about a week later, it was added to the game. So we're finally racing on the new Singapore street circuit inside F123. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from the Italian GP, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out as well there. But championship-wise, still P13 overall there, 2 points behind Alex Albon, 6 points behind Pierre Gasly, and we're 8 points behind Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. The fight between Red Bull and Ferrari at the top is really heating up. 8 points the gap in the drivers, 6 points the gap in the Constructors, but we're kind of focused on what we can do in the latter stages of this season. There's still rumours of some rule changes for Season 2, so we are on a bit of an R&D hunt at the moment. But yeah, let's try and get prepared. I got no idea what to expect, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
Well, there we go then. Looks like we will have rule changes for Season 2 of this career mode. And what departments are they going to affect? Aerodynamics and chassis there. So two of the weaker parts of our car. So that's quite useful then. We should be able to get most of these parts sorted very, very quickly. But yeah, that's worked out really nicely for us as we head into the Singapore GP. We can get all those other 5 upgrades done as well behind the scenes inside the next few videos. But yeah, we need to try and leapfrog some of those other teams in front as we get to Season 2, but that is a really, really good start. Well, nighttime has descended then upon the Singapore street circuit, using our practice time to try and make sure we get used to the new layout around this venue. But yeah, Singapore now almost feels like a figure of 8. Of course, with how close you get to doing a crossover halfway around this lap, but still what staggers me, despite the, what used to be a very, very complex final sector is now basically a straight line, still basically need maximum downforce to get the most time out of this car. Purple through the middle sector. It felt really hooked up, really nice. We'll certainly take it if we can. But yeah, obviously I'm sure we'll see times improved by the front runners there. Braking into here, really, really difficult to spot. About 80 metres out from the apex, but as we make our way through the final corner, it's felt like a pretty tidy opening lap. Up over the line, we go P4 between Verstappen and Leclerc. Suddenly, again, this car suiting the higher downforce. Well, that first lap, yeah, very, very hooked up there, and that's a straight into Q2 there, but look how fine the margins are. Alex Albon, less than a tenth behind me there, 3 tenths. Covering our top 11 cars at the end of Q1. Aaron Barnes, though, everyone else within a second, and he was 2 seconds behind Logan Sargent. Well, McLaren then, first cars to dip under 90 seconds around this new and improved Singapore GP. Maybe we could join them here in Q2, but again, I'm going to try and make it through on just the one run. If we can drag an extra set of tyres into the GP, I would be very, very happy. But yeah, really got to try and make sure, there's no room for error still around this Singapore GP. It's all about trying to make the track as wide as possible. 4 tenths up, though, on Alex Albon as we make our way into Sector 3 once again. Yeah, Albon, though, down on a 130.7, so maybe we can try and find a little bit more on the Williams as we make our way into the final couple of turns. They're a little bit deep into the chicane. We know Singapore can often suit some rather peculiar cars in Formula 1. Blender throttled through the final corner, up over the line. It's a 130.0, and it puts us again between the Red Bulls. There we go, Charles Leclerc once again setting the timing screens alight, but we have made it back into Q3 then. I'll be honest, anything higher than 10th I'm going to be quite happy with here. Because, yeah, we're fighting with the big dogs, but clearly this car has got some good pace underneath it. Really now the goal then as we move into Q3 is try and go under 90 seconds for our lap here. We've got 2 bites at the cherry. We were lucky to make it out of the first 2 sessions on a single run each. But can we try and nail one final lap here? Let's try and go sub 130. Slight nudge of the wall there as we make our way into the final sector once again. Apart from that, though, this lap has felt pretty tidy. 4 more corners to go. Oh, a little bit deep there again. Just trying to tack a little bit more speed into that final chicane of the lap, but through the final couple of turns we go. Almost doing a Lance Stroll, and again, it's a 130.0 here. We're going to get one more chance to get into the 29s, and boy oh boy, we're going to hang it all on the line. Well, there is no reward in life without a little bit of risk, and it doesn't get much riskier than the Singapore Grand Prix circuit. Let's go one more time then around Marina Bay. Let's see if we just need 0.02 of a second here to achieve my goal. I've not been able to look at the time on this lap. 1 more corner to go, though. It's felt pretty hooked up over the line. Where is it going to be? Don't tell me that's pole.
Fantastic, you've got pole position.
Out of nowhere! That must be one of the best laps I've done on F123. It is a shock pole position here, ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. Oh, Lancia are back, baby. Our 2nd pole position of the year. And yeah, this car on high downforce circuits really seems to come alive there. I've got no idea where a 129.2 came in all of that. We even made a little bit of a mistake up at the top of the hill there, but that has got to be my lap of the season. We snatched pole away there, an 8/10th improvement on my final run in Q3, but now we've got the difficult bit and we've got to try and hang on to it. Let's get into it. Singapore Grand Prix time.
Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. Here's the track, and it's all changed for 2023 with 4 corners removed between turns 16 and 19. It means the lap length is now just over 3 miles, and that might come as a welcome relief to the drivers, or especially their brakes. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start 2nd. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Hamilton, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Ricciardo, Zhou, Tsunoda, Stroll, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Sargent, and the reserve driver rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, in the end, then, we were only a casual 4 seconds quicker than Aaron Barnes by the end of qualifying. That is certainly redemption for the last time we raced against each other here on the Singapore streets. But in terms of strategy, then, I feel like a 2-stop might be the way to go this afternoon. I feel like tyre wear is going to be quite a tough old challenge. The Singapore GP pit lane, though, is quite a long one, so I might start this race on mediums and just see how far we can go on that first stint, and then maybe bolt on a set of the hard tyres for later on in the GP. I just desperately want to try and hang on to the lead at the start, but I feel like today is going to be one of those days where we just go backwards. Right, let's do this thing then. Singapore Grand Prix, pole position, 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out, and away we go there. A little bit of a slow start in the initial phase, but Sainz joining me on the front row there didn't do any better. However, the Spaniard tries to have a look down the inside of me at turn 1 there, and again down at turn 3. So we're going to have to make sure we give him the room there, and Carlos Sainz clearly is not mucking around today there. The Spaniard straight up and into the lead of the GP as we're struggling a little bit with the balance of the start there with the full fuel in the car. Looks like Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, both opting to start this thing on a set of the hard tyres, but despite that, Lando Norris sending it down the inside at the end of the Raffles Boulevard, and I knew full well we were not going to get any room there on the outside of the corner, so a couple of places lost them off the start of this GP. Not ideal to kick off this event, as, yeah, Lando Norris there clearly trying to help out Carlos Sainz. Now our top 2 at the start of this GP, exactly the same as it was in real life then. So, yeah, Russell seems to have moved past Verstappen, so he is struggling on those hard tyres, but still, I believe it's 6 cars from 6 different teams inside the top 6 there as we make our way into this final sector on lap 1. Like I said, this has often been a track that is very, very strong for the AI. Clearly no more the case on Saturday, but Sunday is certainly, yeah, where they are still absolutely going to come alive. Carlos Sainz leads at the end of lap 1 with Lando Norris following in pursuit. We're really making a conscious effort early on in this GP to not pick up any track limits penalties, but DRS now enabled. So let's see if we can try and get a run on Lando Norris as we make our way out onto the Raffles Boulevard. Looks like we are gaining just a little bit on the McLaren car there, but yeah, not quite close enough that time round to make anything happen. He's definitely slowing us down though on those hard tyres. Carlos Sainz is running away. Oh, Lando, big mistake that time round. That's going to leave him vulnerable as we head out onto the Raffles Boulevard. That McLaren there really wanted to squeeze me. Gave me a car width and nothing more, as again Lando will pile on the brakes late into the end of the straight. And again, we're just going to have to accept defeat. Oh, Lando, big wobble there through the first couple of corners again. Kind of got to try and set up this move from turn 1 all the way down here and in towards turn 4. Took a bit too much curve that time around. That might leave us a little bit compromised, but we still should be able to get the run on the McLaren. Oh, we wanted to get to the inside there, but Lando Norris not having any of it. Late on the brakes. But clean around the outside, we will go there. No contact made. And I think, yeah, Lando realised that time around, because we committed to staying around his outside there, he had to give me some room. We were the car in front into the corner. And now we have got some clean track. Carlos Sainz, though, building up a lead at the front of the field. Looks like George Russell has been able to complete the move as well now on Lando Norris. So, yeah, maybe drove those hard tyres too aggressively early on in the GP and is now starting to struggle. Either way, we're going to now have to monitor the gap to the Mercedes there. Oh, first warning of the day. That's annoying. Just a tiny bit wide down at turn 1. Tyres are hanging on quite nicely at the moment, but yeah, still just struggling with the balance a little bit here. Well, starting lap 10 then here in Marina Bay, we are doing pretty well at the moment. Carlos Sainz, that gap has actually come down a little bit. Yeah, we're going to go with a conventional strategy though, I think. These mediums definitely are starting to lose grip and traction in places, but should be enough. The one I'm actually still nervous about is actually George Russell behind. He's doing very, very well at the moment. As, yeah, the gap to Sainz just coming down a bit, but that Mercedes is going to be hounding us. We should be okay, though, from George. Of course, if this game is realistic, he'll bin it on the final lap. I think Sainz, though, fell into the same trap as Lando Norris. I think he pushed too hard.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 41.6 seconds.
That's quite appalling, 12 laps into the race. Aaron Barnes is not having fun here on the Singapore streets. But yeah, I think Sainz worked those tyres too hard early on in the stint, because both George and I are both taking time out of him at the moment. Ferrari could really do with a win here. End of this lap, though, we are definitely going to have to box. The gap to Carlos Sainz, though, for the first time basically since lap 1, is under 2 seconds. So yeah, we've really given it our all towards the end of this stint, but I can't help but feel the Ferrari just trying to keep me at arm's length at the moment as we make our way through. He's found a couple of turns. Sainz is going to stay out there then, so we might be on for an undercut here on Carl. Oh no! No. What on earth is that? I just bottomed out completely over the curb there. I've never had that before around Singapore, as Charles Leclerc will join me in the pit lane then, so I assume Sainz is going to be in next lap. But now we might be under pressure from George Russell. We were lucky to gather it up and not potentially pick up a penalty or anything like that. But yeah, hard tyres going onto the car. 2.4 second stop is pretty tidy. Let's just hope we come out in some clear traffic, or clear air even, which it looks like we should. Want to try and make sure we're ahead of Logan Sargent there as on pit exit. We'll be side by side with the Williams. Damn it. Just come out behind him there. Didn't want a case of Felipe Massa and Sergio Perez all those years ago. So we've got yellows out, please, now. Now cannot be a safety car. That'll put us in really bad shape for the second half of the GP. Someone's gone. It's a Haas car that's out of the GP. No, they've just gone for a spin. And there were yellow flags out in Sector 2. Oh, sorry, at the end of Sector 1, and I don't really know why. So a little bit desperate there. But we do complete the move on Logan Sargent. Momentary scare as I thought we were going to get screwed. More cars boxing, though. Yuki Tsunoda into the pit lane there as Carlos Sainz already making his way out. There is the Ferrari. So will he get ahead of Lance Stroll? No, he won't. So that's really important for us then. We're all over the back of Carlos Sainz as we head into the second half of this GP. If he gets held up in traffic, there might be a window. Oh, here we go. Sainz trying to have a look around the outside of Stroll. Not happening there. So we make our way down the end of the little straight. But yeah, now you can see the Canadian has got both of the race leaders pushing him along. Around the outside of Sainz, no opportunity there. I think he's going to try and defend from me wherever he can. And I'm sure he's praying that Stroll is diving in that Aston Martin, almost into the back of the Ferrari car, as we make our way out onto the new section of the circuit. As Carlos Sainz there, I think, wanted to go defensive, couldn't quite make it happen again. We'll just about get the car stopped in front of me there. This is super close racing at the moment. Stroll is in. So Stroll... Oh! Sainz has messed up the final corner. Go on. Down the inside we'll go. We'll have the DRS as well. And has Carlos Sainz just potentially thrown this away? We'll still be ahead of Russell on pit exit there and through down the inside at turn 1. Sainz goes back at me, though, on the exit of the corner there. We'll try to hang on to it, but we'll just about hold on to the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix for the first time since the start of the Grand Prix. And a very, very uncharacteristic error there from Carlos Sainz will hand it to me on a silver platter. There we go, top 2 into the pit lane then. I forgot to mention we weren't actually quite back in the lead just yet in all of that confusion. But yeah, now our top 2 into the pits then. So let's see it to make our way out of the final turn. Back to the lead we go of the Singapore Grand Prix. But this is not going to be easy in the second half of this race. Carlos Sainz, I'm sure, is going to continue to hound me. Oh, we've got to start getting really, really careful in the second half of this GP. You might notice one of the tyres is way more worn than any of the others. That's, of course, because with the simulation tyre wear now inside F123, if you nudge a wall, whichever wheel you nudge the wall with, it ups the tyre percentage by about 5%. So we keep scraping a couple of the walls around here with that front left tyre. Just goes to show how much we're pushing at this stage of the day. And it's meant, well, yeah, in 6 laps, we're already up to 36% wear. That'll really upset the balance as well of the car towards the end of the afternoon. That's what I mean, just a tiny nudge like that. Another 4% added. Come on. Ugh. Oh, just you nudge the curbs around here in some places still and just really throws the car around. But less than 10 laps to go. This honestly is feeling like one of the most complete races I've ever ran inside F123 up to this point. I'm just praying that we don't get a mechanical failure. Okay, George Russell now trying to make a move on Carlos Sainz just behind me. Are we going to see the Merc potentially now inherit P2? I think he has. And now that might leave Sainz under pressure from Lando Norris as well then. So Carlos Sainz, Ferrari have not managed the tyres today, and the Spaniard is really struggling. Come on, 5 laps to go here from Singapore. George Russell is still trying to hound me towards the end of this GP. Sainz is keeping Lando Norris at bay though. But yeah, these tyres just starting to slip and slide a little bit. No! No! I cannot believe that. With just a handful of laps to go, we were barely over the white line. Oh, that's a penalty though. We've got to now try and pull out 1.2 seconds over George Russell. Effectively, it is qualifying laps to the end. That's not what I was aiming to do. It's so difficult now because I know we can try and pull out that time over George. But we are going to have to take big risks here late on in the day. And we need to get the laps nailed. Back end just starting to rotate around a bit more. As clearly still nudging that front left as engaged the tyre wear warning light. Oh, come on. That's how hard we're pushing late on. We almost Lance Strolled it. Well, the last little bit of hope I can hold on to is maybe Aaron Barnes, our teammate, comes and saves us. You can see he's not far up the road. We might well lap him before this race is done and dusted. But could we get it at a perfect place that costs George Russell a second or two? Come on, one more lap. One more hope. We just need George Russell to do something or Aaron Barnes to come in clutch. We should be safe from Sainz in P3. As long as I don't pick up another penalty on this final lap. But this is so agonising. We have done everything right today. We have thrown everything at this car to try and win the Singapore Grand Prix, to get some redemption for Monaco. All those races ago there. That front right tyre, though, is still not looking very comfy. As, yeah, we are all over the back now of my teammate Aaron Barnes. The fact that we've lapped him is pretty shocking, to say the least there. But, you know, it is what it is. So we make our way through. Go on, Aaron. Get in the way of that Mercedes, please. I think he's going to let us both by in one go, isn't he? No. He's going to get in the way of George. Come on. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. And let's hope that Aaron Barnes parks the bus. No, he's letting by. Damn it. It's over. I cannot believe that. One tiny moment. We just ran a little bit wide. Down at this corner. And the fact that the track limits is away from the wall there, I've never quite understood. George Russell, I think he's not really... he might have led one lap around the pit cycle, as we've got more yellow flags out. But it is not going to matter as we make our way through the final corner. This has got to be the most agonising defeat we've had inside F123. It is P2 at the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yes, mate, I cannot complain about that one. That was an excellent drive. Well done.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I want to know if that was as easy as it looked. An absolute masterclass today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
There are a few contenders, but George Russell definitely stood out, I think. A really solid drive from him today, and one I'm sure the fans enjoyed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, good work from the owner-drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we go then. We were lucky to hang on to P2 ahead of Carlos Sainz. There, half a tenth between us when we crossed the finish line there. But it is George Russell from 5th on the grid to first come the checkered flag there. The Mercedes man did everything he needed to and got a little bit lucky with the way the strategy ended up there. I'll be honest, I don't think really we can complain about 18 points. But again, when you come this close to victory inside this game and it just gets snatched away from you from some iffy track limits, it really, really hurts there. The gap at the top of the table down to 4 points there, but Russell now with that victory in contention. You'd argue sensibly our top 5 drivers still in that fight as we head in towards the final few races of the campaign now. And for us, maybe, just maybe, we could get to Lance Stroll by the end of the season there. We're up to 6th place, though, in the Constructors, so I think sensibly in terms of that, we can be pretty happy with where we are. They're 2 points between Ferrari and Red Bull as we continue making our way through the flyaway season. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we will be back on Friday ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.